Welcome to another episode of Online Dating with Patsy, the podcast. Hello, everyone. Today, my guest is Gina Conover, and she helps women rebuild their inner self so that they don't feel sad about themselves. And I thought she would be the perfect guest since we have so many women who fall for these nasty scammers online. So let me introduce you to Gina. Welcome, Gina.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
We are glad to have you. Tell us about yourself and what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I am a certified confidence coach. I work with women who have gone through a divorce or just are struggling to be able to feel confident and trust themselves. And often, after we go through something challenging in our life, it's really easy to feel like we don't make good decisions or we can't trust ourselves to be able to do things differently in the future. And what I do is I help my clients learn how to intentionally rebuild their trust and create self-confidence so that they can have their own back and make better decisions and know that they can live the life that they want to live.
That's awesome. And my thing on here is I get emails from women. They've been talking to some guy online. He's a scammer, obviously. And I had an email recently. She gave this guy some money. And she just said when she found out he was a scammer, she goes, she felt like an idiot. So what kind of stuff can we tell her and other people who send me emails? What can we do to build them up so they don't feel like idiots?
Yeah, I think one of the best things that I always help my clients with is learning to reframe the situation, right? Like if she was doing that from a genuine place, right? She probably didn't realize it was a scammer or that someone was
Yes.
trying to take advantage of her. So she came to the situation trying to be a good person and trying to help someone out and to kind of take that step back and look at the facts of the situation. Like she had good intentions and he took advantage of her good intentions. And to let go of the shame and the judgment that it was her fault. Like once you know better, you do better, right? But in the
Yes.
moment when you don't know, then you do the best that you can. And when you have a good heart, people sometimes take advantage of that.
Yes. Yes. Very much.
Yes.
So what other tips or anything can you or like exercises that they can do with themselves? I always make it's a joke, but I really believe it. On Saturday Night Live, Al Franken used to do this character called Stuart Smalley, and he always looked in the mirror and said, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. I love that skit, not just because I like him, but it says a lot, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of times we need to remind ourselves of that. What's your take on
Yeah.
that?
I love that. It's kind of what I call creating intentional thoughts about ourselves. It's how we create confidence in ourselves and how we learn to trust ourselves again is to choose the way that we think about ourselves. So, for instance, if someone that you're talking to has, experienced somebody scamming them, to take that step back and, look at how they're thinking about it now. Like they can decide, this happened to me. This is why, but I am going to learn from this experience. Like this can be for my benefit. Like find a way to shift the way you're thinking about it so that you feel more empowered. And I call these bridge thoughts, right? Like we
Hmm.
can work on crossing the bridge to feeling like we can trust ourselves to not let it happen again or to feel more empowered. And we do that by taking these small, little bridge steps across to where we want to be with ourselves. So if you're beating yourself up about oh, I can't believe that I didn't, see this coming, or I can't believe I fell for this. Just to help shift your brain just a little bit by recognizing that you can change that just slightly to something like, I came from a good place, or I'm going to use this experience to learn more about myself or to learn how to create better boundaries or a healthier relationship, just to create space to be able to think about it in a little different way so that you feel more peace and more empowered versus feeling like you are the victim of the situation.
That's good. When I was married a very long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, um, I use that line a lot
I love
because
it.
I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a
Oh, I
geek.
love Star Wars.
Yes. But when I was married, I married in '96, and we ended up separating in 2001 and finally divorcing in 2005, but we weren't living together from 1 to 5. And
Mhm.
I'm Catholic, and I can remember going to my priest saying I want to do the annulment. Not that I ever wanted to get married again and whatever. So he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's fine, no problem." And you have this 75 questionnaire to fill out.
Oh
And
my.
he says, "I'm going to tell you when it's over with." He goes, "You're going to feel closure." I said, "Okay." So I'm filling this out, and it takes a while. And my answers were very long and detailed. And as I'm filling it out, I'm sitting there the whole time. God, I'm an idiot. God, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So when I was done with it and I took it up to Father, I said, "Father, I don't feel closure. I feel like an idiot."
Mhm. Yeah.
But I mean, it's taken a while, and it's not that. I mean, the only thing I want to say that was good out of the marriage was my daughter. She's
Mm, yeah.
21 now. She
Yeah.
is the only thing. And friends said how I changed when I was married. I'm a very jovial, bubbly, laughing person, and they said I was quiet, which I don't understand
Yeah.
because me quiet. Um, but I felt in my case, even though this doesn't have to do with scammers, but I felt in my case, I got out of there. I bounced right back to my old self, and now I don't take crap from anybody.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's my little
Yeah.
example, even though it's not a scammer,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, it's that creating that, like, doubt in yourself, I feel
yeah.
like making you not be able to feel like your true authentic self.
Yeah. I still feel like an idiot sometimes, but, I'm past that.
So that's another thing, like, I think is so helpful is that we're so quick to judge ourselves when we make, a stupid decision, or even like labeling it a stupid decision, or feeling like we got scammed by something, like to just lay on the judgment, right? Like, I can't believe that I did that, or, I'm an idiot. Like the way that we're talking to ourselves is just judging ourselves so harsh. And we can't really like heal or let go or like move forward when we're under the weight of that judgment. And so one thing I love to do is try to remind my clients to put down the judgment and offer yourself compassion. Right?
Yes.
We can heal and grow and move forward so much quicker and feel so much more empowered when we come from a place of loving ourselves and having compassion for our humanness versus
Mhm.
judging the fact that we are human.
Yes, yes, yes. And the one lady that did email me, I had to email her back about something a couple days later, and I just said, "This is your reminder. You are awesome."
I love it.
I,
Yeah.
I don't get to do that all the time, but I like to let people, that's kind of part of this. I want to empower women. You
Yeah.
don't have to take this stuff from these scammers online. And while, yes, I play with them and I have a good time with them, um, I don't want them to be doing this to any more women. And
Yeah.
I like to think I'm helping a little tiny bit. As somebody told me, well, the time that you spend with a scammer, they're not out scamming some other gal. The
That's
time that
true.
I waste their time,
I love it.
basically. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of my
Yeah.
little thing that I do, and I enjoy it very much. I've said before, I wish I could retire and do it all day.
Maybe someday you can.
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's awesome.
So do you have any other, good stuff you wanna share with us?
Yeah. One thing I would also offer is that, just because maybe somebody that's listening did fall for the scammer, right? That they've had this experience, like not to let that be the defining, like define who they are, or that, that's who they are now, or that that's how they're going to make decisions moving forward.
Mhm,
That it doesn't have to now be part of their like determining their worth. Like it's something that they experienced, and to really take a step back and look at what they can learn from this experience. And one thing I always have my clients do, and I think is so helpful, is what I call a thought download. And it's just you can do it really with anything, but especially when you're trying to work through something, or experience, something that you feel shame about or judgment, is just to sit down for 10, 15 minutes and just write down all of your thoughts that you're having about it. which is usually going to be all of those like judgment thoughts, right? Like, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I didn't see this. Like, just empty out all of those things from your head and put them onto a piece of paper. Because when we're carrying them inside our head, it's just like they swirl around and around and around. And we don't get to work
Yes.
through any of that. We just carry around that mental and emotional weight with us all the time. And we think we're working through it because we're thinking about it nonstop, but
Hmm.
we're just carrying it. And so taking the time to intentionally write it down or type it out, like we got to get it outside of us. And then it helps us to gain that perspective and that awareness of, yes, this is what happened. I can see maybe where I wasn't quite like being true to myself, or maybe I missed a red flag. But it can be such an empowering activity to be able to recognize that, you know, you are in control here. Like, you can learn from this and you can take a lesson from this experience and put yourself back in control of your life.
Most definitely, most definitely. What I do sometimes, because I hate writing, just because I'm lazy and it bothers my hand, I do
Most
videos.
people
I
do.
don't keep
Oh,
them.
that's
I
good.
will sit there, with the video camera on my computer and just I ranted about something probably a couple months ago about an old boss I had and the effect that it still had on me.
Yeah.
And I always been lucky. I've always had good bosses, but I had this one bad one. And I just sat and recorded myself for 20 minutes crying, saying getting everything out of my system.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
then
so
it was over with,
healing.
I deleted it because I don't wanna watch it because I just talked that was one thing I did just because I'm
Yeah.
more of a verbal person. It's
I think
easier
that's
for me to
great.
s it was something I just said, "I'm gonna do that." So every once in a while when I get a little irritated, the videos aren't as long as that one, I'll just, pop it on, say what I gotta say, and then delete it. Because
Yeah.
this way I'm watching myself and and then I do feel better
Yeah.
afterwards, you
I think
know?
the point is to like get it outside of us, right? Like,
Yeah.
however you do that, talking to a friend, writing it, doing a video, like the point is to get it outside of your head so that you can put down that emotional weight so that it
Cool.
doesn't control you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Now, you have a podcast, so why don't you tell everybody about your podcast?
Well, I actually am in the beginning stages of starting my podcast. I will be talking all about how to be able to intentionally create confidence and build trust in yourself. One thing that I really love sharing is what I call my belief bank. So
Mhm.
when we are working to create trust in ourselves, I kind of visualize it like we have our own little like piggy bank within ourselves, right? And just like a regular piggy bank, the way we're thinking about ourselves is either going to increase the value in that belief bank or withdraw the value. And so when we're thinking thoughts about ourselves like I'm an idiot, or I can't believe I did that, or this is,
Yeah.
ridiculous, or any of those thoughts that judge us, then we're taking out those belief in ourselves. We are depleting our trust. We're depleting our ability to feel empowered or confident. And it's so sneaky because that's just kind of how our brains work, is they'll just kind of go to this like autopilot of this like judgment thoughts. And so learning to be intentional about putting in deposit thoughts, which are just thoughts that build trust or hope or just hold space for us to maybe create something different. And so that's really what my podcast will be all about, is like practical tools and stories and guests and interviews about how we can do that work and apply it in our daily lives and really live the life that we want to live by learning to trust ourselves to create the life we want to live.
That's awesome, and when you get it launched, please let me know,
Yes,
because
for
I'll
sure.
I'll put it on my blog,
Oh,
I
perfect.
wanna
Yeah.
start adding some of these. I've been on a couple shows, and some of these are really great, and so I will be glad to throw that on my, blog,
Oh,
um,
yeah, for sure. And I'd
you
love to
know,
have an interview you on my podcast.
I'm
That would
there.
be fun.
So do you have any parting words that you wanna leave?
My parting words is I would say that just to be aware of how you're thinking about yourself. Like, it's so important just to catch the conversation we're having in our mind all the time. Like, it really does impact our lives because the way we think about ourselves is going to generate the way we feel about ourselves. So when you've, been through an experience where you got scammed via, online data or something, and you want to be able to try again, you got to be intentional about how you're thinking about yourself to be able to do it differently next time. right? If you're beating yourself up the whole time and just calling yourself an idiot and shaming yourself, you're going to probably come from a place of shame and judgment and be more vulnerable to repeating the same pattern. So learning to think about it differently, build a feeling of trust and confidence in yourself will allow you to approach the situation from a different perspective and a different place in the future and create something different for yourself.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming
Yeah,
on
thank
here because
you.
you're exactly what I've been looking for. Just
Oh,
somebody
I'm
who
so
can
glad.
try to, build up these ladies, and
Yeah.
let them know, hey, you guys are okay. Don't worry about this.
Yeah. I
You're
mean,
going to move forward.
yeah, like it, and it really, I would just also tell them not to let it like determine their worth. Like they are, quote unquote, the victim here. The scammers are the ones that took advantage of a good person. And
Yeah.
so it's not their fault.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to refer them to this episode.
Awesome.
Well, I do that for some of the stuff, especially when I had
Mm,
Marie Smith, who's the special agent from North Carolina.
yeah.
I'm like, well, listen to this episode because this one, I learned stuff and I was
Oh,
shocked. And
good.
I'm not easily shocked anymore.
Yeah.
But I refer people, hey, listen to this because they're going to explain it to you a whole lot better than I am.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
thank you so much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, I hope you all got some good information from Gina. Again, her name is Gina Conover, and she's a certified confidence coach. And I think sometimes after you have something like being scammed like this, that seems to happen to a lot of women and some men, that your confidence starts to go down and you need just a little bit help. But I'm going to have her contact and website information on my blog so you can go there and check it out. And you can contact her. She does this virtually. Now, I don't know her prices, but the information will be out there and then you can contact her. If you need help, sometimes we all do just need someone to talk to, someone who can build our confidence. I want to do the best I can to build you up so that you don't let this happen again and that you know that, hey, you're okay. And in my book, you are totally okay. You're actually totally awesome. So don't forget that. And if you need a daily email reminder from me, you just tell me because I will be glad to do that. So as you know, I continue being on Instagram and wherever, but mostly on Instagram, talking to what I call as the quote boyfriends unquote. That's what I tell everybody. Gotta go home. Time to talk to the boyfriends. Give them a little attention. Well, I get some interesting messages from them sometimes. I gotta read this one because I'll tell you, these guys have some great pickup lines. They really do. This is from a scammer named James, or that's the name he goes by, and he sent me a message and says, "Hello. I was just going through the website hoping to meet someone nice, and your profile just made me halt at your spot. I had to summon the courage to text and would love to get to know each other better and hopefully become friends and see where this leads us." Well, that's just very nice, but we all know it's not the dude in the picture. That's their strategy. That's what they do. They give us this sweet talk to think, oh my God, they're going to fall for it. But ladies, we're not going to fall for it anymore, are we? No, we're going to fight back. We're not going to let these guys do this to us. So I hope I didn't get too crazy there, but I just want you all to know that we're not going to put up with this anymore. Now, this next message is not a nice one to me. And I wasn't nice back. A lot of times, depending what mood I am. Now, this particular one is from Plenty of Fish. And if you watched episode 4 with Special Agent Marie Smith, she told you some stuff about Plenty of Fish, about how a lot of those guys are in jail. And if you haven't seen that or heard that episode, please go back and read it or listen to it. Nobody reads. You read my blog, you listen to my podcast. I'll get it straight one of these days. Anyway, so this particular guy, he sends me a message and says, "Hello, can we be friends?" And my response back, being the sarcastic person that I am, I said, "Are you in jail or are you in Nigeria?" A lot of times when I do that on Plenty of Fish, I get blocked right away. But oh no, not this guy. You'll love what he said. "Is that how you talk to people you just met? You don't even have manners of approach." Well, no, because I know he's not real. So my respond back is, "Dude, I've been on this site for several years. All the guys that I've met on here were scammers. If I offended you, then move along. And from the comment you made, it sounds like to me you are a scammer. So I love what I do here. I love going after these guys. I love stringing them along and thinking, "Ooh, they're going to get some money from me." And they don't. It's great. If you haven't checked my story, it was about a month ago on my blog. It's my fake Mark Hamill. It's a good one. You got to go check it out because I made him wait several hours before not sending him money. But you got to go to my blog and read it. That's www.onlinedatingwithpatsy.com. You got to check it out. Now, another story I just posted. I had my first fake George Clooney. He fell in love with me right away. You know, we were going to get married, all kinds of stuff. But I'm going to warn you, the first three-fourths of it is a lot of I love you, I love you, I love you, sweet poems, sweet this, sweet that, blah, blah, blah. Not that I don't like sweet talk. If Chris Evans was to knock on my front door or call me and say sweet things to me, I'm his. Anyway, I have to throw that in there every time because I'm such a huge fan. He is my cougar crush. Everybody, all my friends know that. So, and as far as I'm concerned, whoever listens to my podcast here, you're my friends too. I talk to you about all this stuff, hoping to help you, hoping to entertain you because I enjoy what I do and I enjoy doing this. I like helping people. And I don't have millions of dollars. I don't even have a couple dollars to help people. But if I could do something like this, every small thing that you do can help somebody. You don't have to be rich, although we all wish we were. But every little thing that you can do can help somebody. And this is my way of helping women and sharing these stories so that you don't fall for these boneheads. I would like to use worse words and profanity, but I don't really want to. Although I do drop the F-bomb occasionally. We don't want these guys to keep doing this crap, And I wish everybody, all the women out there, do what I'm doing. You don't have to do the blog or the podcast. I'll do that. But talk back to them. String them along. And I know some do. And then come in for the takedown. I used to say as the come in for the kill. But do that. String them along. Piss them off. Maybe they will finally stop. Probably not, but everybody can do their part. It's so, so important. And then I also had a fake Vin Diesel. So, but again, you'll have to go to my blog and read those. Again, he wanted to marry me. I was very popular this week, and everybody wanted to marry me, except Chris Evans. Okay, I'll stop. I know. Anyway, but check those two stories out on there. I do the screenshots. I got bank account numbers. And as always, I notify the bank. I let them know what's going on, so they're aware of it. And if any dude gives you bank account numbers, you should do the same thing. Because I know if you're listening to me out there, you are not sending anybody money, right? I know you're not. You wouldn't be listening to me if you were. And if you know somebody that's doing this, send them to my podcast. Episode 1, 2, and 4 are the big ones to listen to because, well, 1, it's just me introducing myself, and I play some audio from these boneheads. And 2 is 2 ladies who wrote a book in California. Her king, the con, Linda Young, was the one that got scammed, and her sister Shelley Frost got her through it, got her out of it, and they wrote a book about it, and it is totally awesome. And I'm going to throw this out there again. If you send me an email and on the subject line you say Shelley and Linda Rock, I will send you a free copy of their book. I have 4 of them, and I want to send them to somebody, but nobody's done that yet. You guys, come on. It's a good book. Or if you prefer to buy it yourselves, I encourage you to do that. I have the Kindle, and I have the hard copy. I got an autograph of their paperback, because I'm special, but no, they are the sweetest, sweetest ladies, and the book is very good. The information they share, the step by step of how it all happened, I consider it kind of a Bible because that's what happens. And they go through it very carefully, starting out when they were younger kids, and we all have these moments where we're our heart's on our sleeve. I was like, I said this before, in the 80s, this kind of stuff I could have easily fallen for, because as much as I hate to admit it, I probably was, oh, I'm romantic, and oh yeah, I just got to have a man, and I felt like I wasn't worthy, and I was self-conscious about my weight, and I was still a fun gal, but in the back of my mind, I had all this stuff running through it. And it's not until I got older, and when I got married, and then I got divorced, but I got a beautiful daughter out of it. But it wasn't until I got much older that I'm like, this is me, okay? You either accept me or you don't. I don't care. My friends love me. My family loves me. I think some of you out there may love me because of what I do here, and I hope so. But I want to help the women out there, because I do understand how they feel, and I don't want to say, when it comes to men and stuff, that I've become a hardened bitch. I haven't, but I'm just at that point now where I'm not looking for anybody. But I'm not saying if Mr. Right came along that I wouldn't look twice and see, But he would also have to understand, this is what I do. I talk to strange men on the internet. They don't mean anything to me, okay? But I don't want him to think, oh my God, she's talking to all these men. He can sit here with me as far as I'm concerned, but he has to understand, this is my passion project, and I plan to do it for as long as I'm on this earth. Or I get Alzheimer's or something. But this is my passion project, and I just feel, I don't know that any man would understand what I'm doing, and they have no reason to be jealous. Because if a guy is with me, he's going to know that my heart's his. But so anyway, so that's just kind of where I am. It's like I have a set schedule every day. I work, talk to the boyfriends, eat dinner, do marketing, do my podcast. It's kind of my whole schedule for the week. I do take evenings off sometimes. I do need to not do this sometimes, but for the most part, I enjoy doing this because I feel like I am helping some people out there. I do get emails, and I love hearing from you guys. Most of these people, most of you all, you fill out my contact form on my blog, and that's great, because then I can still respond back to you there. So again, anybody, I have 4 books of Shelley and Linda's, and if you send me an email and put in the subject line Shelley and Linda Rock, or Linda and Shelley Rock, it doesn't matter, I will send you a free copy of this book, and I may even throw in one of my t-shirts. If you happen to send that email to me and say, hey, by the way, Patsy, I'm a size large, there's a very good chance I'm going to send you one of my shirts. And I'm doing headbands now too. I can send you a headband. So a little incentive to get you to want to read their book, because it is so. And I am trying to find guests for my show, because I could sit here and talk to you for an hour. Actually, a lot longer than that. But I don't want to put you to sleep, and I want you to keep coming back. So if you know somebody that's been scammed, do you know somebody that has some funny tales of online dating? I would love to share them on my podcast. If you met your spouse through online dating, I will have you on here too, and anybody that is on my podcast gets one of my t-shirts. It advertises my blog on the front, and I put something on the back. Usually it's never send money to someone you don't know, and then my web address. Sometimes I have creative stuff. It depends what kind of time. Unfortunately, I'm not quick to send out these t-shirts, but I'm trying to get better at it. But I would love to hear from you. It's Patsy Podcast at att.net. Or go to my contact form on my blog, www.onlinedatingwithpatsy.com. I would love to hear from you. Check out my stories. Again, I'm trying to get on the Ellen show before it ends. This is her last season coming up, and I feel this is an important subject. And I think going on the Ellen show, who I'm a big fan of, I mean, everybody watches Ellen, or at least they used to. And I just think bringing this on that kind of platform would be awesome. I have other shows I'm trying to get on, but right now I'm concentrating on Ellen. Well, after Ellen, it's going to be The View, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, all those. I'm really into this. I want to share this information. I don't want people falling for this anymore. It's important. Right, ladies? We're not going to do this anymore. Say it. I am not going to send somebody money that I don't know. If you got money to spend, donate it to your favorite charity. Help out a neighbor. Give it to your family. Give it to whatever charity or any organization that's in your area that you want to help. I don't need your money. I just want you to listen to my podcast. I want you to read my blog because I think it's good. I'm very proud of what I've done on it. I'm going to be doing this blog 5 years this fall because I think I started it in October of 2016. So I've been doing this blog a long time. I got lots of stories. You got to check out the Liar's Wall of Disdain, which I need to update again because I try to save every picture of every guy that I've talked to. And I update that. I post that every couple months. You got to check that out. You may recognize some of these guys on there. You'll be like, oh, I remember him. Oh, I remember him. Some of them I've had over and over and over. But yeah, some of these guys reuse pictures or other guys use, or other gals. Guys, I'm all screwed up here. Use them. So we want to put a stop to this. I need your help. Listen to my podcast. Go to my blog. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your older relatives because that seems to be the ones that they want to hit are the older ones who are lonely, who look like they just couldn't get a man, or they just look like the lonely type or whatever, and they look like they may have money. So I just laugh if they think I have money. It's hilarious. I'm a single mom. Give me a break. But I play the role of someone having money so that they will talk to me and we can carry on our conversation and I can come in for the takedown. So I think that's it for this week, but keep coming back. Patsy Podcast at att.net. Be on my show. You get a free t-shirt, headband. Who knows what else I'll send you. I send all kinds of goodies to people that are on my show. But when you do get one of my shirts, I just want you to send me a picture of you wearing the shirt, and then you never have to wear it again. I just like to take the picture. I get it printed at Walgreens at 8x10, and I want to put it on my wall. Right now, I only have one picture, and that's Shelley and Linda, who wrote the book. But Will and Karen, who were on my show, who met through online dating, they just sent me their picture. So this weekend, I'm going to get it printed out so that I can add them to my wall. I want to fill my whole partial living room wall with your pictures wearing my shirt, and eventually I'll also want to put it on my blog with your permission, just so people can see how great, how awesome you look in my free shirt. I want to stress that. If you're on my show, it's a free shirt, okay? That's it, and as I always end every show, never send money to someone you don't know.